Yeah,
For
thanks for
sure.
having
Thanks for
us.
having us.
Of course. This new record is sick, and I'm stoked to talk all about it and everything else you have going on
Hell yeah.
between the tour that's coming up, which I'll hopefully get to see y'all in Minneapolis when you guys come through. So that'll be sick too.
Yeah, sweet. That would be awesome. Are you from that area?
Yeah, so I'm originally from like the Iowa City area, but I live in
Oh,
Minneapolis now. So
nice.
yeah, you guys are actually playing my favorite venue in Iowa for your Iowa date, so it works out.
Oh, hell yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we've never been to like that little region of the Midwest. But it's been like at the top of our like want to go list for a while, so we're very stoked that we finally get to go over there.
Oh hell yeah, yeah! That show's gonna pop off very well.
Sick.
Like even though Real Friends is only like they're from like 3.5 hours away from like Iowa City, that show
Mhm.
always every time they come into town, it always gets really packed in there. So it'll hopefully be a good crowd to get exposed to Carly Cosgrove for that.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
So my only question for the three of you before we get started is: do you happen to have an unopened beverage that you'd like to participate in the opening crack with?
I
Yes.
do. Yes.
Oh yeah,
Me too.
Yay.
We came prepared.
Woo.
sick.
This better not be a twist off. It's not a twist off.
Mine's a
Thank
twist off. It was all
Damn,
I
that's not,
had.
you're not real for that.
I'm not real. You're right.
You're actually a fraud for that.
This is
That's
also root
okay.
beer, so
Totally fine,
uh,
dude.
I wish I had a higher quality root beer than this.
The Christmas episode I did last year, the people I did it with don't really drink, and they were like, "Can we do root beers instead?" So we just each bought like five different brands of root beer and just drank
Ooh,
root beer the entire time.
that's beautiful.
delay.
Hell yeah.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll count us in. We'll crack these. I'll do the little intro, bring the three of you in, and we'll just have a good time.
Cool. Sounds
We're
good.
cracking on three.
Yep.
All right.
On one, I'll start at
Okay.
three and then go down.
Sure. All right.
So
On one or
three.
after one?
Now I'm second guessing. Three, two.
Is it
After
three, two,
one.
one crack or 3-2 and the crack is in sync with
No,
the
no. Three, two, one, crack.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
that's
Okay. Okay.
All right.
yeah.
All right. In three, two, one. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This is one that I'm very stoked to finally be doing. It's a long time in the making. I sent out a tweet back in like January, which I'll talk about that tweet in just a second. But I'm sitting down with Carly Cosgrove. How y'all doing?
What
Good.
up?
Great.
Hey,
Hello.
oh.
The tweet that I sent back was as we were getting closer to the Wax Bodega tour that everyone got to go to, but it didn't hit the Midwest, so I unfortunately didn't get to see that tour. But it included the homies Arms Length, Saturdays at Your Place, Ben Quad, and Carly Cosgrove. So I sent out that tweet saying, I've done 3 out of the 4 of these bands on this bill. Would be kind of cool to see if I can hit that fourth, and we finally made it happen. I'm really stoked on this. And I want to talk about the tour later too, because there was a lot of behind the scenes. If you like kept up with it on Twitter, there was a lot of like shenanigans going on. So I want to
True.
get your guys' take on some of that too.
Yeah.
But before we go too far, can you kind of go around the room and say who you are and what you do in Carly Cosgrove?
I'm Lucas. I play guitar and sing.
I'm Helen. I play bass.
I'm Tyler. I drum.
And for people that might not be aware fully of Carly Cosgrove, one, what are you doing? But two, y'all are from Philly, an emo indie punk band. You have a great discography out so far, which I've had the joy of listening to all day. Starting with the first EP and working through literally everything to get the
Oh, cool.
full effect of Carly Cosgrove, and it's been more than pleasant to listen to all day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
That includes the first EP, "Whoa, Take It Easy, Man," and then leads into "See You in Chemistry," your debut LP. And there are a handful of singles throughout there, a couple covers, which if anyone likes foxing, definitely go check out the Carly Cosgrove cover because it is amazing. And then, the real reason y'all are on today is to talk about your sophomore LP, The Cleanest Houses Are Empty, which came out back in June, I believe. I forgot to write that down.
Yeah.
You know, uh, obviously y'all are established, so I'm not going to go through the whole like, hey, how'd you get started? How'd you lead to this point? But kind of take me up to just more recent, like leading up to this release, being the second full length. You obviously proved to yourselves you could do a full length already with See You in Chemistry. But how did it feel to kind of get this one out there? Because I think, I say this on a lot of episodes where every release is basically at that timestamp in the band's life, especially the person that's putting the most work into like kind of writing it and getting all that stuff off their chest. How did it feel to kind of lead up to this one and get this version of yourselves out there?
Honestly, I feel like the relief of like finishing it, releasing it, once it was out, every day that passes, like, it felt better, and you felt, and like I think we've collectively felt even more and more proud as each day passes, which is, I think, different from the last record where, like, I think that it's a different process between writing a first and a second record. When you write your first record, you have your whole life to do it, and then your second record, you have like maybe 2 years tops. So the pressure of going into it is a lot different, and so you kind of have to like hold your breath and wait and see. Like, okay, well, what's going to happen? Like, are people going to be like, oh, I like their old stuff better? People are going to be like, oh, like this is better than the old stuff. Like, you don't really know what's going to happen, but like I think once it got out, once we kind of, I don't know, got over our bullshit, for lack of a better word, I think I can speak for all of us when I say we're super proud of, of the record, of what we made. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm the most stoked on.
Yeah, I think with like a first record, you kind of already set the bar. So you like your fans already know the caliber of work you can put out. And you kind of have, I think, more to prove with the second record to be like, we're not like one trick ponies, like we can do this again. Because I mean, how many bands do you think of you only really know the one record? Like you've got a lot to prove. And I feel like we were able to reach a larger audience, which is like obviously like the point and the goal to keep growing. And it was really cool to see how much larger of a response it was versus the first record, and also to see like the duration of the response, and to this day still finding tweets where people are like, I just discovered for this for the first time and it like blew my mind. And just I feel like because you're reaching more people that will like notice the little details, and to see people not only like it but like be like, okay, wow, the lyricism's really good, like this part's really good, like the drums are really great here, like all those little details just makes you feel so seen, and like it's not just us going crazy like going over all like the little tedious parts of the songs. Like people really do notice that shit and appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I listened to everything today, and obviously there's things I think on each record that everyone's gonna like more than others. Like, there's still songs on the first EP that I listen to probably more than a lot of other things. But that's not to say that this was not like, this is a great step forward for the band. Like it followed up the first LP, but then like took it a step further too. Like you said, lyrics wise and just instrumental wise, like this whole record is just a joy to listen to, because it's like it's definitely a no skip album, and then just the way it's fully laid out, you're just kind of hooked the entire time. And like I remember when I got to like the end of the album, you get to the impact of this exit, and it's like this amazing ballad, and just like the build up throughout, and you're like, oh my god, is that the end of the album? And then you come in for that final time with North Star Bar and just kind of send it off that way. And like I just loved the entire album and from start to finish. Like it's done so well, and you guys killed it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, with
Yeah.
with this record, like I think what made it so like scary following See You in Chem is we wanted to take a different approach to like creating a record and focus more on like the songwriting aspect. Um, whereas before it was just like the collection of songs we came up with um at the time.
Yeah, it was definitely more intentional to like, I don't know, really craft like a fully seen album and really have it like hit all the little bars we were trying to go for. Like there was a point when we were writing it where Lucas was like, I have like a through line that kind of like makes everything make sense, makes all the pieces tie together. And like having like moments like that's like really cool. And it's nice to see like other people like notice stuff like that too.
I think the other particular challenge of this record for us was like, I don't know, kind of finding a like direction and not deviating from it in a way where like I feel like a lot of times we like on previous releases we've tended to kind of meander or like kind of explore like avenues like musically or lyrically that we kind of don't really like touch again. So this is like trying to kind of focus everything that we were writing to create kind of like the most concise way to say what we wanted to say.
For like anyone listening and going from that transition of like trying to be more focused and like have this more cohesive story throughout an album, is there any like tips you could give to someone of like what you had to overcome to kind of get through that?
Um, I think a lot of, I mean, a lot of it is, I think, like, some of it's putting ego aside, some of it's like letting good ideas go to the graveyard, letting bad ideas go to the graveyard, admitting when good ideas are bad, admitting when bad ideas are bad.
No, that's a good point because
That's real.
there were songs that like we song ideas that we almost finished but they just weren't fitting in, and you have to kind of cut off the fat to make the record really work. Like you can't include everything, and yeah, you got to keep like the bigger picture in mind about like this song might be good but does it make sense on the record, will it have a spot, does it flow here in the track listing, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I
And
like yeah, that's always like a big hurdle to like you guys are saying to trim the fat off a record. Obviously, this is the 11 songs. I'm sure you kind of roughly had at least probably I'm gonna guess like 15 to 16 decent ideas going into something, and then having to be like, okay, like what's are going to be our favorite children basically to kind of stay on this record and kind of get out to the world. And I'm obviously curious to see what didn't make it to this record. Hopefully, maybe something of those will make it to light at the some other day. But I commend you for at least getting it down to this 11, and making this cohesiveness.
Oh yeah.
I think of this of what we were writing, I think like only one completed song exists. I think everything else like no, we never really got around to finishing because like I think we had some like weird time constraint stuff going on, but at the end of the day, it was like, okay, well, if we're gonna have 11 songs, we need them all to serve a unique purpose in constructing this narrative. So we don't
Mm.
want to be redundant. Like, we don't want to have a song on this. It's like, oh, that song's just kind of saying what this other song was already saying, but better or different than other songs did. And it's like, okay, well, if this song's already saying that and this song's already saying that, do we really want a third song or even a second song that's saying that?
Yeah, I also remember we hit a point too where we had like an extra like 4 songs flex to play around with. But we were not far out from the studio and we just decided like these are the songs, we're happy with them. Let's just roll with it and not look back.
Yeah.
Hmm. I think also like something that we kind of discussed early on with writing Because writing songs hasn't always been easy for us. Like some songs come together really quickly, really naturally, and some songs like there is a push and a pull. But something we discussed was like, let's go with what feels right and what feels good. Let's not like force ourselves to like write anything that feels like it's pulling teeth. And sometimes
Mm.
those songs reach a point where you don't know what it needs, you don't know what's wrong with it, but it's not clicking, and you just got to make a call because I don't know. It's better to go with a song that's like feeling good and feeling like it belongs than trying to force something that like it could have more potential, but it's just doesn't fit, you know? You got to make those calls.
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes back to what we've been saying, like having the confidence and like putting the ego aside to be able to be like, hey, like this just isn't working. And I feel like it takes a lot of bands a little while to get to that point sometimes.
Hmm.
You know, the first couple records they're just trying to put out whatever they can, but once I feel like a band feels comfortable enough to be like, this just doesn't work for this. Like it doesn't work now. Maybe it'll work later. Retweak it. I feel like that's when a lot of bands start really putting out like their prime material. And not to say See You in Chem isn't prime, but just to see like how this record comes out, like it kind of really reflects through going through that change. I feel like.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we do definitely have standards for ourselves, and we know what we can achieve. So I'm stoked you think we're at that point.
I think the first song we finished, or like the first song that like I think like lyrically I really brought in that was like done to Ty and Helen was Here's a Fork.
Hmm.
And I remember like kind of singing that, like showing them the lyrics and being like, I think this is gonna be the bar for what everything else has to be as good as, if not better than, for this record. And we were like, okay, let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
Hmm. I remember like you texting us those lyrics and reading them like in the middle of my work shift. I was just like, okay, so we're on another planet for this
This
one.
dude's
Like,
spitting.
yeah, I was like, he's on his shit here.
Again, and I think the weird thing about writing songs too is like, you know, it take like a good song will take 5 minutes to write. It'll also take 5 years to write. It just kind of depends. Like the first, it's a silly story, but the first song we started writing for CU in Chemistry was Game Sphere. The last song we finished writing for CU in Chemistry was also Game Sphere. It just kind of worked out that way.
I feel like that's kind of happened a little bit twice now to us with Fork, whereas like one of the first songs we started writing, and one of the last ones we really put the finishing touches on, because we went into the studio with both of those songs thinking they were done, and each time our different producers had ideas, we were just like, whoa, this makes the song so much better. Like just like took it to another
Hmm.
level. Just kind of like nothing even like it's not like they had like a whole new part or something, just being like, yo, just like you don't need this right here, or why don't we just move these sections around and just like having that outside touch. Um, so nice little parallel there.
I mean,
Is there? Sorry, go ahead.
oh, and on that note, we have to give a lot of credit on this record to Justin, our
Yeah.
producer and our engineer and the person who mixed it. Um, he like really like was kind of crucial to the whole process of like bringing the focus to these songs kind of back in, especially on Here's a Fork. I think that was the first song we dug into. I think as a test, he was like, okay, I want to see what it's like to get into the trenches with a song with this group. So we're gonna do the song that probably has the most shit we can play around with.
Mhm.
And I remember like, you know, I honestly I don't even remember how the song used to go.
It was like half as long. Like it didn't have the same like I think the chorus was like there was only one and the order was different of the sections.
That sounds right.
Like it was a good like 60 seconds shorter beforehand.
Was that the? And this is the first time you're worked with him to as a producer on this record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like that.
When we decide producers, we feel like there's two different kinds of like ways to track an album with someone. You either have someone that's like an engineer that just like presses the button, make sure everything sounds good, and then you have someone that will be the fourth member of the band. And we definitely prefer the latter, and that was a big decision when we decided to go with Justin.
And I think that like, when you're younger, I think you think like, oh, like, you approach situations with that like, very ego like riddled, I know everything mindset. And you're just like, just push the button. And then you grow older and you're like, wait a minute. The nature of being a human and being creative is inherently collaborative. And so, yeah, it is nice to get an outside perspective because, the three of us, when we're writing this, we're like so in the world and like it really helped to like, get somebody who just wasn't that just like buried in the songs to kind of come and just say like, hey, now that I've heard this and I have fresher ears and a fresher pen than you have, what about this? And it was just a nice change.
Yeah, that's always nice. Just like how Tyler put it, to have that fourth like unknown member of your band when you have like a really good producer to come in and have those extra set of ears to kind of set you aside and be like, hey, like this would work here, this doesn't work, and like kind of restructure a whole song if it needs to be, and then we see this outcome and it works really well. And then to bounce off Lucas's point, like for younger bands that are listening, let those producers like have an ear for what they're doing and like kind of help out. And I also feel like, I don't know if you encounter this in your lives, but I feel like a lot of bands, they'll go to a certain producer just because they did certain records. But then it's not always like, I don't always feel like it's the best choice, because sometimes you'll go and like your record ends up just sounding like every other like heavy stuff that they already do, and instead of like having that producer that kind of sees your vision and like knows like kind of tries to get you to that outcome that you want, to kind of still make it your own record rather than just another record that sounds like their entire backlog of stuff that they've already done.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like that was something that we kind of were looking for when we picked Justin. Because he's like our age. He actually went to school with Lucas, that's how we know him. And we wanted somebody that's kind of hungry like us. Justin's been working under Will Yip at Studio 4, which has produced so many legendary records. But like something that Justin really brought to the table was that he was like down to fuck around. Like he was down to like figure out like what our sound was and like what would make this record sound unique. Like I feel like some producers, you're right, like they will just make a record and it'll sound like all the other records they've done, but we kind of wanted a record that sounded like Carly Cosgrove, and we don't have that yet, but now we do.
Facts.
And like you mentioned, we really see Justin's kind of influence come out on Here's a Fork. Is there any other songs on this record that drastically changed with that, like a little bit of fourth person guidance?
I would say Zoloft.
Ooh, yeah, he did switch around some stuff there.
I feel like Zoloft went from a really cool idea to a really cool song.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny too, because you go into the studio like so sold that these songs are finished and polished and there's nothing else you could do. And then like looking back, like like it wasn't even close compared to like what Zoloft ended up being.
I'm trying to think of a song that I think changed them. I mean,
Random
we had to
Dancing
cut that.
also, he did a good bit of stuff around like the bridge.
Yeah, we had to cut
Yeah.
that whole section of You Old Dog.
Oh,
Remember
we
that?
did end up cutting that, yeah. We also changed how we got into the second verse, I think.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
I wanna
that was
also
good.
say, so like for someone listening that like is about to go in and record their first album or whatever, like you don't have to just find someone and like trust them to make all these changes. Like at the end of the day, it's like it's your band and it's your songs. and you're the one that's gonna have to like live with them for the rest of your life,
Mhm.
where the producer may not ever listen to it again. Um, so like keep that in mind. But if you really trust the vision of the person you pick to produce your album, like it definitely could be advantageous.
Yeah. Again, it's there's a difference between forfeiting control and like letting someone else in.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, there's definitely times we've told producers like, nah, like you might think it sounds better that way, but we're gonna like stick with it this way, you know?
Hmm. A lot on, yeah, yeah, that happens often.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yeah.
And it's no hate. Like
Yeah.
everybody's like chill, you know.
Right. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you have the vision for really what you are already going into the studio with your idea of like what the song is going to be, and if it,
Mhm.
there's that end goal in mind, and if it deters too much from that like end goal, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be Carly Cosgrove in that end song, then it makes total sense to kind of put the foot down and be like, we really need to keep it this way.
I think something I've kind of been thinking about lately is there's a weird paradox of being in a band that makes emotional and energetic music where you don't have the like when you start out you have the energy and you have the visceral like nature in your gut to make songs that like really like you can feel them when you listen to them. And then as you get older, I feel like with age and with emotional maturity, accessing and tapping into that well gets a lot harder. And I think it's like an interesting paradox because it's like, and it's something I've kind of been thinking about is like when I get older, like am I going to be able to still tap into that as I become, a more self-actualized and more mature person?
I feel like you
Mm.
can kind of already see that a little bit with our work because I think that on Student Chemistry, a lot of the emotion came more from the guitar. Where here on the Cleanest of Houses, the emotion comes more from the lyricism, which is a comment we've gotten a good bit since the album came out. Not a necessarily bad way, sometimes in a bad way, from some haters, which is fine.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like that shows some maturity, and I personally enjoy that.
Yeah. It's kind of a balancing act a little bit. I don't know. You
Yeah,
know,
definitely.
because like, or even just down a tempo. It's like if you want to write songs that lend themselves to like you are going to dance to this, you are going to push pit to this,
Hmm.
and you're trying to write songs with that energy, and then you get older, and it's like I don't want to push pit. I'm too old to push pit. I want to sit down to watch the show. And you
I
write songs.
disagree with you like so hard.
I
It's
mean, maybe
Well,
crazy.
no,
that's
I'm
maybe
saying
that's
is I'm
you.
saying is it's you come to a crossroads. What happens when you get old enough and you start writing sitting down music? Like, you have to make that decision of like, am I going
You're
to try
cooked
to
then.
like right?
You're washed.
Like
Yeah,
like
you're
what
cooked,
yeah, what
bro.
if
You're
you're
Aaron Rodgers washed, bro.
what if I'm in my 50s and it's like I don't really feel like push pitting in my 50s.
Yo, get out of here, Grandpa. We're fucking moshing, bro. We're jumping off the stage, dog.
I mean, there's that huge trope of like, oh, ex-hardcore band members now making post-emo punk something, and it's
Well,
like
I
always
guess
really good. It
okay,
always kicks, but there is
but
that
then
big trope,
there's the other side of that coin too is what if you are still push pitting at 50?
and that's
What if you're
dope.
still but what if it's hard? Like what if it's what if you get people who are just like why is this guy still push pitting at 50?
Well, then that crowd sucks. I want 50-year-olds push pitting at Carly Cosgrove shows for sure.
I'm having a tough time explaining what's going on in my brain right now. I'm very sorry, everyone.
No,
That's
I
okay.
think that's fine. I think if I could be completely wrong, but you're basically trying to figure out how the generation of Carly Cosgroves are going to go based on your life. Because, like I said, every release is like that chapter in the Carly Cosgrove book. that's out so far.
Yeah.
What happens when you get to those later chapters and you're like, I'm not that angsty anymore. Like I just want to write these songs rather than just writing the same angsty stuff all the time. Like I like, you know, when everyone thinks about like Motion City Soundtrack or you know Simple Plan, they're always talking about their high school years. As a listener, I like to also be in the same timeline as a lot of bands that I'm listening to. So when Carly Cosgrove starts making music at 50 and it's not push pit music and it's sit down music, I'm gonna be totally there for it because my knees already hurt and I'm like already halfway sitting down anyways at most shows. So I'm ready for it.
No, that's a fair point. Like I
I like that.
definitely I don't want to be Blink 182 still singing about being a teenager, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Like there's got to be some this is, you know, we're not kids anymore kind of vibe. I don't think
That's
it doesn't have to be boring, but
right. And I
yeah.
think that's one thing I really like about the scene right now in general is just that like everyone's cranking out good tunes, but they're not just like past songs. Like we have like this record, but we you know can't forget about like Ben Quad, Saturdays at Your Place. All these bands putting out sick music, but nothing is like talking about their high school days still. Like they're all talking about like their own problems that they're going through right now. And I think that's one
Yeah.
reason that like everything is just connecting well with so people. Like, you know, you write a song about, you know, having to deal with landlords that aren't picking up their apartment right off the first EP, and like people connect to it right away because everyone hates landlords. You write a song about like not having any money to like buy your friends Christmas gifts, and people are attracted to it because that's the shit that we're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Modern problems require modern
Modern
emo
solution.
music.
Yes.
Oh, we were not going to the same place with that.
Wait, did you say
I was just gonna say
revolution?
modern solutions, but I like modern
Oh.
emo music more. That's funnier.
I thought you said
Yeah.
revolution.
Oh, that too.
That too.
To kind of bounce around this record, I recently y'all made a post about how you know you I think there was a screenshot of like your top cities that are still listening to Carly Cosgrove, and you know Philly was still number one. Um, how does that make y'all feel that Philly is one still number one, and then two, how does well let's answer this question and then I'll go into the next one instead of just putting them both there. But like, how does it feel to still have Philly rock with you this hard after since the inception of the band?
It's dope. We've had some of the like coolest moments in our lives happen on stage in Philadelphia. Um like and it's like from the beginning. So it's really cool to know that like the people that were like jamming to us like in basements in like when we were in college are like still fucking with us.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like, you know, your home's got you. That, you know, no matter what, you will still always have a fan base where it's most important. And I don't know, I love the city. Like, I hope that no city ever surpasses it as far as like biggest Carly Cosgrove fans.
Hmm.
There's always something extra special about Philly shows. Just like, even if the crowd was smaller for whatever reason, just like looking off to the side and all your friends and family are there, it's always just a great feeling.
Uh, that's going to lead into my next question is, you know, being in Philly, growing up in Philly in the music scene and everything, how has that translated in the like through your music into what you are and how you have become Carly Cosgrove? Like how is that rooted into Philly?
I think Philly has a really unique spot as far as regional scenes are concerned that I kind of see being duplicated by, well, not duplicated, but like echoed, I guess for lack of a better word, by a lot of like other scenes that we've come into contact with. Philly is at a point where it is such a large network of houses to play at and bands and like niche communities that like you can go to like, upwards of 5 house shows on a good like night when college is in session. But it's also at a point where, there are like 5 or 6 different individual scenes and communities and friend groups operating independently of each other with no idea that the other one exists. And these are separated by college, these are separated by like, age, these are separated by like style of music, and there's so much going on. But I think the coolest thing about Philly is that the emphasis is still on community at the end of the day. I hear these stories about like places that rhyme with New York City where people will go and see their friend's band, on like a 5 band bill and then leave to go to like another house because there's always something going on. But I think in Philly, people are more ready to like commit to one show or, like to discovering new music and new artists. I think there's some weird culture in Philadelphia, like not weird in a problematic way, but like I guess there's a lot of different ways to discover music you like. Some of them are at, the sort of show house where people are going with their arms crossed and intently listening. That's fine. You do you. There's some where people are going and like dancing really hard and getting fairly intoxicated. That's also cool. Like you do you. That's kind of the cool thing about, I don't know, coming up in Philly. And I think that community angle has really influenced the way that I operate, like in my, intrapersonal relationships and the way I carry myself professionally, the way that I want to, exist in, this, out of Philly space that, Carly gets the privilege of existing in. But also it's just like, I don't know, making sure that the people who are still in that community aren't deprived of the same experiences and opportunities that we were, or that we weren't, rather.
Yeah, I mean, outside of just like how the community like works, like I don't know, in the way that it like made this band happen, like I wanted to be in a band because I would go to house shows and I would see these bands play and like 70 people in a basement would be like singing and like dancing and I always like, yo, like I want to be a part of that. Like in fact, like Carly Cosgrove was honestly started as a side project between the three of us to have a fun basement show. Like we just wanted to play to our friends and like make good danceable music, um, to kind of like continue that like cycle of just like bands coming into basements and inspiring other people that are watching. Um, and it kind of ended up here.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's crazy that it starts out this as a side project, and now here we are, all these years later, and you have some sick tours coming up that we'll talk about here in a second too. But I Philly's just one of those places also that like I've never we never when I was touring we never played Philly. We drove through Philly,
Hmm.
but since I've been doing this podcast, I've talked to I'd like easily I'd say probably at least 40% of my episodes are probably Philly bands. I want to say like it feels like
Hell
there
yeah.
was a moment there where I would say like, hey, I'm a Minnesota based podcast that just focuses on Philly music. It felt really weird, but amazing at the same time, just because like there's so many cool scenes in Philly, like pumping out stuff. Like you have a really good pop punk scene. You have a good like kind of like indie shoegaze scene. I've talked to like some punk rockers, and like it's just really cool to see how it's all there and like just thriving on itself. But I keep saying one of these days I want to make it to Philly and like just try and meet everybody and go to a bunch of shows or do something. But it's really cool to see it grow, and it's awesome that you guys are still obviously I think everyone from Philly reps Philly super hard. Always
Hmm.
go birds, all that
Go
fun stuff.
birds.
Facts.
But it's cool to see it's still deep rooted in you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, this city gave us where we are right now. We wouldn't be here without the support of it. So always gotta, I don't know, go back to your roots and love the city back.
and
Caring
then
is cool, by the way.
It's true.
I don't know. What'd you say?
I said caring is cool.
Oh, caring is cool. I thought you said tearing the school,
Oh
and I
no,
was like
caring is
really
Ooh,
cool.
confused.
Caring
that
is
Is this an
cool.
inside
also.
joke? Um, but and then to kind of bounce off what you were saying, Lucas, like, I've lived in Minneapolis like the last 4 years, and it's kind of also similar to Philly, where you have these different pockets of genres or age groups of stuff going on that don't always interact with everybody else, but like it's still like a big community at the end of the day. Like if something happens, everyone's there to show support, but then you have like you have like the 40 plus dudes playing punk shows on like a Thursday night, and then you have like a bunch of like younger all ages shows going on somewhere else throughout the city. Like there's so many shows going on here too, but it's always funny to just see like the different groups that like don't interact and then like are still just like trying to do their own thing, but like everyone's cool with each other. It's great to see, but also kind of funny just how it like unintertwined everything can be.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, everything's like so connected, but in such a giant, vast way that like you're only like 2 degrees of separation away from somebody, but because of how big it is, you don't even realize because you're like 2 degrees of separation away from freaking everybody else.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Like I'm trying to book some things for next year, and I
Mhm.
had to reach out to like another band in the Twin Cities that I've recorded with, and it was just like you're more in tune with like the kids. Like what's the spots to like be doing this at? Because like all my friends are like in that 40 plus group. I'm thankfully not 40, but they're all in that group that I end up getting, uh, that I end up hanging out with. So it's just like I don't know what the other people are doing. I need to find that like bridge
Mm.
sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, but speaking of bridges, we're going to bridge back into this record. That's how that happens. Um, so I mean, I mean, this record's been out for at this time of this recording, 2.5 months. By the time this episode comes out, it'll be like three in ish. Um, but I mean, I remember when You Old Dog came out, and that was the first single to drop, and I was just like, oh my god, like this is gonna be sick. Because when we had talked about doing an episode, we were like, okay, we're gonna wait until after the Wax Bodega tour gets done,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that there was a record coming out at all this year, and then that dropped, and I was like, oh hell yeah, like I'm gonna like this is gonna be a good conversation, and
Yeah.
when that dropped, I was just so stoked on it. Like it's such a great single to start out with. And then I was very hooked and ready for this whole record to drop. Uh, was there any reason behind dropping You Old Dog, kind of as like the first of like, hey, like this is the new and improved Carly Cosgrove for this record?
There was a lot of like back and forth, I feel like, to decide which song to drop. But something that I feel like um we've now done twice is we will have a song that when it is written, it's almost like an aha moment of like this is the centerpiece of the album and this is the sound we're going for. Um and that was You Old Dog. Similar to See You in Chem, Monk was like a song when we wrote, we were like, this is how the album is gonna sound. So it felt right putting that out first, similar to You Old Dog. I think we decided in the end that like it was a nice bridge from the old stuff to the new, um, and it was like a special place for all of us. That song has.
Another challenge of, picking a good single is that it has to be something that both exists well on its own, but also in the context of the project. So if you're
Yeah.
picking a song, and also especially with Cleanest of Houses, where there's so many songs that are, like contingent on it being a transition or going into another song or like kind of revealing some sort of part of the quote unquote exposition of the record, like Stuck in My Straw would not have made a good single for the record because it was so kind of dependent on like being a part of that like 1-2 combo of that and What Are You, a Cop? Whereas what are you like it's almost like writing a sentence where like stuck in my straw is a dependent clause. What Are You, a Cop happens to be an independent clause. That can exist on its own, and it has as a single and a music video, but stuck in my straw, not so much.
Bringing me
I
back to freaking high school grammar class, man.
Right.
I was like, what
I,
the
I
heck?
also I also think that like first verse of You Old Dog is like a really nice introduction to the what is about to come. Um
Mhm.
and it just sets the tone.
Yeah, like I said, it was a great single to kind of start out with, and then even like where it's at in the record, we kind of get that little intro, and then it kind of goes right into You Old Dog, kind of gets you pumped up for the rest of the ride that the record is going to take you on. And I love too that like that it's right at the beginning. It's nice and quick, but like it wasn't like you front loaded the album at the same time, or just released like some bands will release like all their singles, but they'll be like the first 5 songs off the album, and you're just like, okay, like I've listened to this already. Like I don't want to make
Mhm.
it through to song 10, and just having that little glimpse at the beginning and then going into it is like, okay, like I know this song, I'm ready for the song, and then just going into it is just a great way to do that too.
Sure.
Yeah, we're a big fan of not giving away too much of the record. Like the record should still be more important than the singles.
Hmm.
And when we pick our singles, we make sure that we're not like taking away moments from the record so that when you do listen to the record for the first time, you're still like, oh, holy shit. Like,
No, 100%. And like that's as like a listener, that's the thing I love, because I'm still one of those guys that loves listening to full EPs, full albums, rather than like the continuous just like single every 3 months. Like I like the full
Mm,
story, full concept. So it's great to get that whole moment and not have it be basically spoiled at the beginning before it even comes out.
mhm.
One other thing y'all did this year, like I had mentioned, was the Wax Bodega tour, and for that you kind of did this nice, fun 3-way split with Ben Quad and Arm's Length, where you guys each kind of picked one of each other's songs and re-recorded it. Y'all did Joan of Hill from Ben Quad's discography, and I think even just today, Ben Quad tweeted about like how that's like one of the
Yeah.
best songs out there, and how did that come about? Like, who got to decide to do whose song, and like did you get to pick that exact song, or was it just like, hey, you guys get Ben Quad's discography and kind of choose what you want? Like, how did that come about?
It kind of started, well, because the Wax Bodega tour, you know, it really was Arm's Length's first headliner, which is, tremendous accomplishment for them. So they kind of like pioneered that with Wax. So they got first pick of a song of ours, and then we get Ben Quad gets Arm's Length. So yeah, they kind of commandeered that, and they picked, once we found out they picked one of our songs, then we got to choose from Ben Quad.
in terms of landing on Joan of Hill, I'm gonna be so honest. It was one of the songs, like that was one of the first of all, that's one of the songs we all like. But
Yes.
also it was one of the songs that we would all be able to play because Ben Quad, like Isaac is insane and Edgar is insane, and this was like gonna be like a fun cover comp and not like we were hoping it wasn't gonna be like a full production. So
We're
Jonah Hill was like one of the more approachable songs that we all like.
Yeah.
It was also, we were on a bit of a time crunch too. And not only are they all talented musicians, but their playing style is very different than ours. So it was like a song that we could make work for something that felt authentic to us. Um, but also still like, of course, was a Ben Quad song, and still like kind of combines the two styles.
Hmm.
Mm.
Another, I guess, cool thing about that track is it is the first time that I've gotten to mix and record both a Carly song since We'll Just Take It Easy, Man.
Hmm.
That song was mixed and a lot of it was recorded in the room I'm in right now. And
Yeah.
it kind of served as like a nice marker of like just like technical progress when it comes to like mixing and like what you learn. And I got to go into like the sessions of doing that with all this knowledge that I learned from like watching Justin. And it was just like a nice little kind of like uh, for lack of a better word, like temp check on like
True.
how that felt. And also like I don't know, it was fun to just like there was a time crunch, but it was nice to have a recording project that was a little more, for lack of a better word, like low stress and like than a traditional record where you're recording your songs.
Yeah, I think like when I recorded bass, like I just came over one afternoon and just you and me, it was just like so chill. Just to be able to just like record like that, and we're just like bouncing ideas off each other, there's no deadline, there's no like fuck, like we got to get this done before the studio time's up, like just two homies chilling playing bass, good
Although,
vibe.
of course, now that I say that, Tyler, I'm remembering what happened when
Yeah.
we were trying
Oh,
to.
true.
Yeah, a funny story about this cover is we were again time crunch. We were like, all right, drums, we got to get it done in one day. So we're nearing the end of recording and the snare breaks. And if you know anything about recording, it's like you gotta have like you can't just use a different snare then. So um and I remember too when the way it broke, we were having trouble finding a replacement piece or something. And there was a big like scram on like if we're gonna be able to actually get it done. But I forget how, but we ended up figuring it out.
I think what happened was it was an older snare drum that still, instead of being connected by like these plastic tabs, the
Oh
strainer on the bottom
yeah.
was held on by twine.
Yeah,
Which now
that's
you think
And if
about,
funny.
you've
you're like,
ever looked at
awful
like
idea.
the hoop on the bottom of a drum head, it's basically a wedge, i.e., a blade. So,
True. I don't know why they make snare. I mean, this is like a whole
I
other
don't know why either.
thing.
But point being is, I ended up taking a piece from another snare drum and retrofitting it onto that one to use the plastic piece instead of the twine.
And it
and
worked.
and also like in terms of like what to finish, like we're talking like maybe like 10 seconds, the last 10 seconds of the song. So it was like we will do anything just to get these last like 20 snare hits in.
Man, that's amazing. At least you pulled through. The cover is amazing, and I love that. We'll give props to Arms Length for kind of spearheading it, but I love the idea to kind of pick someone else's song on like the tour and just kind of do this little fun thing. Like Arms Length, they did really big shrimp of yours, and I was listening to that today too as well, and like that those dudes kill it every time. I feel like as well.
Mhm.
For sure.
It really makes me want to see more homies in like the scene just kind of do like a comp album of like, hey, you get so and so's like discography, pick a song, and just like we'll just put it out for fun or something like that. Like that'd be kind of cool to if we were to do something like that, or like someone were to do something like that. Is there anyone in mind? And you can all have three different answers as well, like that you would want to cover one of their songs.
Ooh,
Mm.
that's a good question.
My
I,
mine is solely based on drums, but I would love to do a Pool Kids cover. I feel like that would be sick.
that would be dope. I feel like our styles would translate
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I think, okay. Oh, we kind of already did this, but Alex G, I would love to cover another Alex G
Mm.
song. That would be so dope. Because I don't know, I feel like it's something where it's like it's not the same genre, obviously, but it's like the like fundamentals are there where we can like make it our own, but it's still like so fucking different.
Hmm.
And it's all Philly, baby.
That's true, it's all Philly.
Elephant Jake for me, I think.
Oh yeah.
Friends of ours from
Mm.
since the very beginning, and I think our third show ever we played with them. That's where the band Carly Cosgrove met Elephant Jake. Not where the three of us met them, because we've kind of like, crossed paths, like, passing ships in the night prior to that, but we played a gig with them like early 2019. Our third show, and met them,
Mhm.
and been fast friends ever since.
It's so true. Those are the homies.
Also, I don't know why, but I've just been like really loving the idea of covering the song Shadows of the Night by Pat Benatar.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It's out of my
Let's go.
range. We'd have to figure something out, but I love that song.
I fuck
Well,
with it.
if anyone's got some strings behind the scenes, make some more comps happen. Like it's always cool to see like people's different renditions on songs. That's I think one thing that was really cool about that whole three-way split was just like we know it in its normal form, but to see it in a completely different form and a different band's eyes, and how they tackle it is always cool to see.
I mean, we
Yeah,
were doing a lot of cover comps during COVID, I think, too, right?
Yeah.
there were a lot of cover comps. That was like a huge. I feel like just like the scene in general is just really on it with those. I mean, everybody had the time. Plus, there's a lot of shit going on that was
Mhm.
very worthy of donating to.
Uh, one cool thing y'all have coming up. This episode comes out I think I had this slated for like the first Friday in October. So by the end of this month,
Sweet.
you can start to catch Carly Cosgrove on tour. They'll be on tour with Real Friends, Can't Swim, and Slow Joy. That was a nice kind of like surprise to see. That y'all will be on that tour package when it starts touring this fall and winter. How does it feel to be on this tour package in this run?
It feels so sick. It's
Yeah.
such like a loaded tour. I've been a huge fan of Real Friends and Can't Swim since I was in like high school. So being able to like share the stage with them is kind of surreal. And it's just like one of those moments you're just like, oh shit, like I'm really in this. Like I'm really here.
Yeah, it's also cool to play to different audiences. I feel like the Wax tour, there was a 50% chance that every person there liked at least two, maybe three of the bands. So a lot of time we were playing to people that, half the room already knew us. This will be fun because it's a whole new set of ears, and some larger rooms. So I don't know. We're a pretty ambitious band, so we're super stoked for the challenge.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I feel
Okay.
like also, yeah, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I'm stoked that you all are on this, and I really hope it goes well. And like I said, hopefully, we'll get to see you when y'all come to Minneapolis for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think I mentioned earlier before we started recording, we've been wanting to go to that area of the Midwest for like a long time now. Um, so very stoked that we finally get to see there. I mean, we
Hmm.
also like we don't get any say in like the routing for like a support slot and stuff, so it's always kind of like a toss up of like where are we going this time, you know? But once we got the flyer, we're like, yo, this is sick. And I really like the routing. There's a lot of new places, but we're also going back to like a lot of our favorites.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. You hear that, people? Like, just because they're on the tour does not mean that they have like a say in like if they didn't hit your city, it's not their
Yo,
fault.
You
yo,
freaking
that's
tell
so
them.
real. I
Let
would
them
even
know.
say if you're the headlining band, you also kind of don't have a say.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me explain something for all you people. First of all, your city needs to make us money. I'm so sorry, but we're not going to bumfuck fucking
Yo,
Fucklerville. Like it needs
Bucklerville?
yeah. We're not going there,
Yo, we're
bro.
not. There's no
We're
venue.
not hitting there.
We're not playing your backyard. It's not
is-
happening.
It is so expensive to go on tour. So expensive. You have no idea how many fucking costs there are that add up for these bands. Like it needs to be profitable, otherwise it's not worth it to risk like your time, your money, your vehicle, your physical health to go to fucking middle of nowhere. And also, there is a thing called a radius clause where if you have played an area in the past however many months, you can't play there again so soon because you're stretching your audience too thin. That's how numbers work, you know? So we can't play Philadelphia every single month. It's not how it works because then 50 people will come every time instead of 500 people coming twice a year. This is math.
I love trying
Deal
to
with it.
explain touring to people who don't do it.
Yeah. Even
Like-
people
like-
in the industry, if they don't tour, they don't get it.
Like,
Yeah, if you ever
Yeah.
see a flyer go out and you're like annoyed that the band isn't coming to your city, email their booking agent. That's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, don't
And also
don't message
text
the
all your
band
friends.
because yeah.
It's yeah.
I love when my dad asks me like, "Hey, why can't you just do a tour and go out and play like Lancaster and then like Wilkes-Barre and then come back?" I'm like, "Because."
Why would we do that?
Like because he's like, "Why you gotta go all the way to California?" I was like, "Because it's easier for us to go there than for all of them to come here."
That's true. Also, California is dope. What? Why would you go to California? Why would I not go to
Like, why you
California?
gotta drive so
lit,
far? Why you
dog.
gotta drive so far away? Why not make a vacation out of it? Why don't you go down
Right.
for a week and you just play one show and then?
Yeah, why
No.
isn't it just like a whole like 5 off days in the middle of the tour around Los Angeles for fun? Why did they do that? You know? I just don't get it.
Old people will retire and then get on their 401k and pension and immediately forget how the working world works.
Facts.
But yes, go see them on the Real Friends tour. I'll have links in the description for tickets. Make sure you go get your tickets. And if you're, as I normally say for those ones, if they're going to a city that I'm not in, you have to everyone listening has to go to those shows for me to see how they are at those shows compared to the show I'm going to see them at.
That's
You know,
true.
it's
It's a
very-
contest.
Dude, if they were like, actually, they were better at the show that you weren't at.
It'll be difficult. Then I'll be like, okay, they have to have a Philly show when I go to Philly.
Sure.
'Cause I feel
Actually-
like that would be the only way to make it up.
One of the shows on this tour, we're giving out a prize to everyone, so you have to go to all of them.
Yeah,
If you want the prize.
it's random which city it is,
Okay.
and it's
You hear
worth.
that?
It could
Millions
be.
of
It could be the
dollars.
first show of tour. Could you imagine?
It could be in Bucklersville.
It could
It could be
Buckler's-
Fucklersville.
Yo, Bucklersville, everyone gets a free T-shirt.
Congratulations, congratulations, all one of you who showed up tonight
All one of you.
in Bucklersville.
Bucklersville, the capital of New Bumfuck.
Oh shit.
That's dope.
We're gonna get so much hate on this from the one guy in that town.
From one guy
Yo.
from Bucklersville. Yeah. Bring it on, baby.
Population of Bucklersville, population 1, just lost its only Carly Cosgrove fan.
You're saying that, but someone's definitely gonna respond, being like, "Yo, I rep my scene." Like,
Nah.
I
I'm in
mean-
5 bands and it's just me. I attend all of my shows. That's community, baby.
For real, if you want bands to come to your small city, you need to text all your friends and start getting them to shows.
I think
That's
that
literally the way to do it.
Yeah.
just like one guy running a scene and being the only person in like every band and attending every show like reads like a Nathan For You episode, like the plan.
Like how I'm going to maximize profits.
Yeah.
Be the only guy in all
Be the
bands.
only guy involved.
Well, we're starting to get loose, and I feel like it's a good spot to start to transition to the later half of this episode. But before we
Right.
do that, we kind of talked about the new record. We talked about Carly Cosgrove, the cleanest houses are empty. Is there anything that I might have missed between the band, the record, and everything else you have going on that you want the people to know about?
I feel like you got it all.
Good
Yeah,
job, me.
come to the shows. We like hanging out.
Yeah, come vibe out.
Yeah. And I know we'll talk merch here in a second. For people that are vinyl collectors, I think the splatter is all sold out currently on Wax Bodega. But by the time this episode comes out, it's probably going to be way lower numbers. But we'll talk about where to get some of that stuff here in a little bit. And then as we start to transition to the later half of this episode, like I normally say, this is Beers with Bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes because I would definitely do that for you. But I know y'all are sipping on some fine bevies on this fine Monday. What are y'all drinking tonight?
I got A&W that I found in my pantry. I think my roommate's boyfriend gave it to me for my birthday. Shout out Andrew.
I got Reading Draft root beer from the supermarket about 30 minutes before the podcast started.
That sounds really good. Is it fire?
It's pretty middling.
Not gonna lie. Is it like some like company from Reading?
I hope so. It's got a picture of a locomotive on it. That's kind of the Reading, Pennsylvania thing.
That is
Shout
real.
out Reading, Pennsylvania. Shout out Taylor Swift, I guess.
No. Incorrect.
My dad and Taylor Swift went to the same high school, not at the same time, but he loves to tell people that.
That's crazy.
At the same time would be crazy.
Did you not know that?
I did not know that. That is insane.
Just, I don't know, just like, but yeah, they both went to the same high school. They both grew up in the same suburb of Reading.
Well, she can actually not claim Pennsylvania because she's dating a Chiefs player. So that's
true.
Treacherous.
From Cleveland Heights.
True.
I am drinking a Wisconsin staple. New Glarus Spotted Cow. Employee owned.
That's what that was. Yeah.
Crushed it. Oh, didn't crush it. There's still mad beer in there. Didn't crush it. Almost crushed it. Employee owned. You could only get it in Wisconsin. No.
That was amazing.
That was awesome. I was so confident in that too.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, there's nothing in this can.
You got another one?
No.
That's the last one.
Do you know what kickstarting a beer is?
Oh, is it when you do like that?
No, it's like you like kind of.
That sounds cool though.
You kind of like do a little move with it where you like crack the can and bring it into your knee so it foams up immediately and it's undrinkable.
Why would you do that?
To make a mess.
Yeah, that's almost as swag as pouring it on your desk.
Yo, real.
Yeah, I'd say that's one of the best moments that I've seen in a while.
Fuck yeah! I'm glad we were able to make that happen.
Michael, what are you drinking?
For tonight's episode, I got some good old Modelo's.
Nice.
I got my pops coming to town, so I stocked the fridge for him.
Hell yeah, pops.
That whole Tyler's thing still got me. But yeah, so that's the little beer segment for this episode. We're gonna transition to the later half of this episode, which is always my favorite part of the episode. I know we're already loose, which is the perfect moment to kind of segue. This is where we kind of talk about some fun stories from your guys' time of music, whether they're shows, tours, time recording. As I normally say, they can be anything horrendous to tremendous, or any adjective in between. Think about the stories that you always reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually the stories that everyone loves to hear. As gnarly as they can be or as tame as they can be.
I'm gonna start it off a fairly tame but a classic. And I'm gonna leave out names and cities, so the person that hears this might not get offended. But on our first tour ever, and we didn't know anyone, we went to the city in the Midwest, and we were hanging out with them. We were like, yeah, we need a place to stay or whatever. And they're like, yeah, I got you, no problem. And we get to their place, and they're like, they have a really nice house. They had this whole house to themselves. It was sick. And they were like, oh, yeah, usually I have bands, like, in the basement. Like, that's where I, like, play and stuff. Like that's where I like practice. And we're like, okay, cool. And we go down there, and it was like a horror house. Like
Yo.
you go down there, and it was like so dank, like like there was cat litter everywhere, just like air so thick with cat that you just like kind of couldn't breathe. And it was just insane. It was like the worst sleep we ever had. We all woke up thinking we had COVID.
We also
And then
did
two
have.
We
weeks
also
COVID.
probably did have COVID, which we found out we had COVID later in that tour.
Like I think later that day.
Yeah,
was
it might have
that
been the
Was
next
later
day.
It was that day.
Might have been the next
Yeah.
day. Yo, we
Alright.
got COVID from that house. I'm gonna just put it out there.
No, we
No,
got
we did
COVID
not.
from
No, it was
everybody
from them.
on that tour got COVID.
It was from their cats. Yeah, so that was crazy. That was like a moment where we like kind of had to take a step back, and we were like, we need to better vet who we are staying with every night.
Yeah.
I remember like the bathroom. I like there was like a full bath down there, and I remember stepping on the bath mat, and it was just completely soaking wet. And
Yeah,
no
that
one had
was gross.
used the bathroom since we got there. So like
No,
it was
everything
just
else was
kinda
dry.
like that. It was like
Yeah,
No,
I
that's how it
think-
came.
I do think I felt worse breathing in the cat litter than when I did have COVID. Like that was that out of that whole period of time, that was the worst feeling.
It's just like pungent and like just so harsh to breathe. Like
No,
yeah.
imagine like sleeping like in a litter box is essentially what was happening.
and it was a shame because our host was quite nice.
They were lovely. They were wonderful.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to tell the Holland Oates story real bad.
Oh, yo,
Oh, that's a good one.
need to tell this. Yes.
Do you think? Yeah, it's probably appropriate to name cities and friends.
It
This one's
absolutely-
fine. This
Yeah,
one's
this
fine.
one's
This is so good.
We were staying with we were on tour with Oso, and we were staying with our friend Tori, who plays bass in the band Carpool. And they have this local haunt that's like within a stone's throw of their house. It's a bar called Gordy's 2. I don't know
Like
what happened at the first one. It's called Gordy's 2.
It's like in Tori's backyard. Like it's
Yes.
like walk out Tori's door, bars in 10 yards distance. Like it's
Yo,
like,
real shit.
it's
Y'all are
dangerous.
doxing Tori right now. Continue.
Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm so sorry, Tori.
Yeah.
Yo, keep
what
it
was the house
pushing.
number again?
We don't remember.
What was Tori's
let me
first grade
pull up the
teacher's name?
spreadsheet where we
Well, is their mother's maiden name?
um
Shout out Tori.
anyway, we're at Gordy's 2, and the last couple times because we go there, we've gone there a couple times when we play pool, and there's like arcade games, there's a bar, there's like one person in the back who makes wings, like the slowest way you could possibly make them, and anyway, the clientele, it's like our friends, our group, and then there's the bartender, and there's one patron in the bar that's not part of our group. And the jukebox is going, it's like a touch tunes, and it stops. There's nothing else in the queue. And the guy goes, I got this. Does anybody have anything they want me to play? And I'm like, okay, I don't know this guy. So I'm like, hey, I'll think of something that's kind of like accepted as like, oh, everyone knows this band. And I'm from Philly, and I miss it home a little bit. So I'm like, hey, why don't you play some Holland Oates? And what I thought I heard him say was, what? And so I asked again. I was like, Holland Oates. And I heard him say, what again? And I was like, Daryl Hall and John Oates. And
But-
apparently,
but-
what he was saying was no.
He was like, nah. Like,
And Tyler, and he was like, I will play anything but Holland.
yeah,
Oates.
he said, yeah, I will play anything but that. And like, it was, again, just us. There was not a single other person in this bar. So it's like, I couldn't possibly not inquire further. So I said, well, how come? Like, why not? And he goes, well, I have. Wait, Lucas, do you want to?
He said, I'm currently in a legal battle with one of them. They're suing me for $40,000. This guy came to the bar to drink to forget this lawsuit.
It's
And
like,
then
damn,
you just
bro,
show
it's
up in his
mad
life
awkward.
just to
And
rub
this
it in.
lawsuit just followed him to this bar.
Like, what are the odds that of all the artists you name, it's one that he is being like sued by? Like,
And he said he was being sued by John Hall, which is not either of them.
Not a
So we
member of a
don't
band.
know.
No, not. It wasn't in that group. That's a
was
completely
awesome.
different other person.
I hope that he's making it up. I hope he just didn't want to hear Hollow Notes. And just,
I hope he won that lawsuit.
I don't know. It kind of seemed like a curmudgeon.
I hope he doesn't drink to forget.
I mean, if you drink to forget, you spend all your money and then you don't have to pay back the lawsuit, right?
True. That is how
So
it works.
true. Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Uh,
I don't know why he got sued. What do you think he did?
Maybe he tried to like be Hall and Oates. Like he tried to steal their identity.
Maybe
That's
he's a
what I
rich
would have
girl.
done.
Maybe he's a rich girl and he's gone too far. But you know it don't matter anyway. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money.
Yo, keep going.
It's a bitch girl, but I don't know the rest of the words.
Okay. I have a
Anyway.
story.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Let her rip.
We are on the Wonder Years tour. And we are in San Antonio, Texas. We're loading in to the venue. And we see all of these people walking around backstage who are not fully dressed. And we're like,
yeah.
there's no way these people are a part of our show. Turns out, in the smaller room at San Antonio, was it San Antonio?
Houston.
Houston. I'm so sorry, Texas.
Oh.
Not really. Okay, Houston, Texas. People walking
Helen,
around.
would you say these people were scantily clad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Is that not what I said?
You said not fully dressed. That implies
That
like
is
somebody
also
was,
kind of.
like that implies like, oh, somebody's changing, somebody's not decent but is going to be.
They were.
I feel like scantily
This.
clad implies more.
It was
than
a
one.
version of dressed.
They were decent.
They were decent, yes. But so they're walking around and we're like, what are, like, what? This is a Wonder Years concert. And there was like a unicorn thing. Anyways, turns out one of the smaller rooms at the venue is having a burlesque show. So after our set, we're like, let's go to the burlesque show. So we go.
They invited us though.
The woman was like, who was running was like, oh yeah, there's a burlesque show. You guys should go. So we
We were
go.
like, can we? Do we have
Yeah.
tickets? She was like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
She's like, you just walk through this door. We walk through the door. We go. We're supporting, tipping, you know.
Throwing money.
Yeah, as you do.
Going crazy.
Eventually, we run out of money, but we had more back in our green room. So we're like, let's go get more money and then come back to give it to these amazing women. So we go back.
And they were doing like cool things too.
They
Like,
were doing cool
so,
things.
like one of them was like, it is a burlesque show, so it's like a performance. They're
Yes.
balancing on like glass bottles, like walking
Mhm.
across glass bottles.
It was
And,
impressive.
like not breaking them, and just like I think one of them like did a flip or jumped and like stripped off the outfit while not losing their balance on aforementioned glass bottles.
Oh, yeah,
which was
they deserve the money.
wacky.
It was
Straight up
impressive.
talent.
Yeah,
Yes. So we're like, let's go get these beautiful women some more money. Go back through the secret door. There is a security guard there.
They were not fucking with us.
He starts chastising us in front of Dan Campbell of the Wonder Years that we cannot go over to the burlesque show and that we would have needed to pay for it. And we're like, but the woman with the cool clothing and the big hat said we could go over there. She was the one rolling the unicorn. Like, she said we could be over there. And they're like, nope, can't do that. Not allowed. Can't go back over. So we're like, what the heck? And then
And Dan gave us like a one of these, like, shame.
yeah. And then last year at the Loneliest Place on Earth festival, we did like the pre-show. This woman comes up to us and she's like, I flew into this show from Texas, like, or something like that. She's like, I'm a huge fan. I saw you guys there. She's like, craziest thing at that show, after I saw all the bands, I went to a burlesque show and they poured milk on me. And we're like, what the fuck? She's like, I paid them $200 to pour milk on me. And we're like, yo, we're at that. And like, if we hadn't got kicked out, we would have watched them pour milk on you.
I would have we would have seen the milk.
And now you're here.
We would have never forgotten you.
No, yeah.
That would have been like the conversation for the rest of tour. Like, hey, remember when they poured milk on that person?
That would have been insane.
The other thing I remember about that show in Houston was the septic tank burst.
Oh, yeah, and it was rank.
And we had to load out in the midst of a shit river. That was fun.
Oh.
Yeah, that was sick.
It was yuckies. Yeah. But yeah,
those are our tales.
Those are some fun stories.
One cool thing that I did see that happen recently. Obviously, if you would have been there for the woman getting milk poured on her, she would have been, guest listed probably for life. But one other thing that you have gotten to witness recently is someone proposed at a Carly Cosgrove show.
Yes.
And got engaged. Like, how crazy is that? Like, that they wanted to do it, like, how crazy in a good way. That they wanted to do it, like, with your show involved.
Yeah, it was awesome. Those are actually some good friends of ours, Derek and Chloe. And we used to play shows with Derek back in our basement days, and a couple of their bands. And Derek reached out to us and was like, hey, like, your new album has meant a lot to me and Chloe, and I would really love to do this. Would you be down to make it happen? And we're like, fuck yeah. And it was like a beautiful moment. It was so nice. Derek gave like the absolute sweetest speech beforehand. Chloe was like anticipating it and like also had a ring for him. It was like literally so cute. I was tearing up on stage. It was adorable.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, very, very special thing.
And I was like, I felt like maybe I got more nervous on stage introducing Derek than he did giving his speech and proposing to Chloe. Because I was like, how am I going to segue this?
Yeah, I was nervous too, because I was just like, I just want to make sure everything goes right, and I didn't have to do anything, but like, Derek seemed so confident and prepared. Like, the speech was so like well thought out and said, it was really like from the heart and stuff. But I mean, we were all like, I started looking around. I could tell we were all kind of like, ooh.
Oh yeah. Well, shout out to them for love.
Love is cool.
Like,
love is love.
Love is cool. Yeah.
My phone's at 7%. Are we gonna go much longer, or should I plug it in?
Probably plug it in just to be safe.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Real.
So this is where we talk shit about Tyler. Just let me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can still hear you.
I could have sworn I saw something. You know what? I think it was earlier. We practiced today. I saw his phone at some point, and it made me do one of those like disgraceful. Plug your fucking phone in. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm such a piece of shit about it, dude.
Yeah, dickhead.
I'm the fucking worst. Fuck.
Some of us aren't like chemically bonded to our phones all the time, Helen.
Yo.
Well,
It's
you're
true.
so fucking welcome for running all of our social media, you fucking asshole.
This is true.
Where do you think you'd be? Not on this podcast.
Not here.
No.
That's for
Yo,
sure.
Michael, if
Yeah, shout out.
I had my phone like this, would it completely fuck your shit up?
No, it gives me a wider view on you.
Like it won't be
yeah.
weird.
No,
It's probably better.
Okay,
like
bet.
honestly, yeah, it is better than than just portrait mode. So
Hell
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I will
it's
say
cool.
for-
We're in the
beginning.
the last 15 minutes, anyways.
All right.
Yeah.
We're rolling, baby.
For
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
listening, Helen, like, and who doesn't know, like, Helen runs all the socials, checks all the emails, is the most organized of the three of us. Like, give Helen your
Yo,
roses today.
actually, if you ever interact with Carly Cosgrove, just know that you were talking to Tyler Kramer.
Shut the fuck up.
If you ever receive an email from Carly Cosgrove, that is also a Tyler
No.
specialty.
No. Let me explain. If you receive an email from Carly Cosgrove and the person writing it forgot to hit reply all, and
Yo.
it also was like, what's going on here? And it's not signed. It's from Tyler Kramer.
Yo.
And if the person responding has to then
flames
loop
RV.
back in the rest of the email chain because he fucked it up, it's from Tyler Kramer.
Yo, it's crazy you're just gaslighting me right now. It's crazy. Yo, it's crazy you're just like saying all these things that are not true.
I really
Mhm.
tried to start this off as a wholesome moment to, like,
Right.
I don't know,
And
give
then-
Helen some flowers.
And then Tyler said, no.
Nah.
Nah, I want a moment.
And then Tyler said, actually, I hate women.
Yo.
It's getting late at night.
Do you know any time zones that aren't the 4 that are in the contiguous 48 states? Like the names of them?
It's Central Mountain Pacific.
No, like any of the ones that aren't
Oh, shit.
48. Like, do you know the one that's like the time zone that's like where, like, I don't know, Spain is?
I just know the prime meridian, and that's all I can remember.
Yo,
ever.
Prime Meridian. That's real.
Yo, that's crazy. He said Prime Meridian.
Yo.
The
Who up
international
talking
date
about the
line?
Prime Meridian?
But
This
Alright.
is so
Yeah, sorry,
yeah, no, I'm roping us back. I'm roping us back.
I blame
Thank you,
Tyler.
Michael.
No, those are all solid stories. And hopefully that one guy didn't lose too much money to, what was it, John Hall that you said instead of.
John Hall.
Sean Hall, yes.
Yeah.
So hopefully that guy's still living and not just day drinking all day to forget. But as we start to wind down, I have two final questions for you. One's probably a dumb question, but dumb questions are fun on this podcast. Then one's gonna be a nice, lighthearted, warm-hearted question to end it off. Just on that high note.
Give it.
So to start off with, I don't know how I heard this. When you find out like music rumors, you never remember how you heard it. But we've all heard some rumors from the music industry. Like the biggest one, like Marilyn Manson took out a rib to be able to suck his own dick better or whatever.
That was actually about Tyler. You heard that incorrect.
Oh fuck!
You learn something new every day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't know where I started hearing it, or if I just made it up in my mind. And it's been on, like, I've thought about this for a few years now. And now that I have you on, I can finally ask. So obviously the band is called Carly Cosgrove. For some reason, the rumor that I heard, or that I manifested, was that originally the name was like Miranda Cosgrove or something more affiliated with iCarly, but you guys got a cease and desist, so you switched it to Carly Cosgrove.
That's not true.
Close.
Okay.
Close.
All right.
Yeah, there was something lost in translation. All the things you said were correct, just in a different order.
Okay.
The band was always
So-
named Carly Cosgrove.
Yeah, and I think what we were originally, we were like, let's get a cease and desist letter.
Yeah.
Like let's
Cool.
go for that. Like that's the trophy.
And then we get it, and we'll put the text on a shirt and sell it.
But really, they have just ignored us so far.
Yeah.
Which is so much less fun.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Secret insert question. have you hit up Miranda to at least be like, yo, you're guest listed if you want a spot or something?
We have not, no.
We've tagged her in things though randomly.
We have. I haven't in a while, but no, I don't know. We don't know if she knows who we are yet.
There's no way. Okay,
There's
here's
no
my
way.
thing, right?
No, she's gotta.
When we first started
Yeah.
the band, we were doing like all the memes and shit. Like, of course, no one knew. But at this point, there's got to be someone involved in that show that
Right.
has, looked
Showed
up
her to her.
iCarly on Reddit and seen something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you come across us when you try and find it.
At the very least, Ethan Monk knows who we are.
It's true. We
commissioned
got a
Ethan
cameo.
Monk to do a cameo for us
Yeah.
in 2020.
Well,
For those of you who aren't acquainted, Ethan Monk is the actor that plays Guppy
Mhm.
on iCarly, and we had him say, "Wish our EP a happy birthday."
It was goated.
It
It was low key fire with the sauce.
It was based.
Yeah, it was epic pilled.
literally before we got on, I someone had like reposted or like they posted like about something that had happened, but they were like one of Jerry Trainer's like first like cameo purchases.
Yeah.
And they basically asked him like, what was your favorite? I'd have to look up the tweet again, but like, what was your favorite album by this band? And it was, I think it was like a Jimmy World.
It was Jimmy World. It was Clarity.
Dope.
You
Yeah,
know this
and-
person. We played a gig with this person.
Yeah.
Who?
So I feel like if anything,
This is,
Jerry Trainer might be in the realm enough to
Okay.
like, listen to.
This was the drummer
Carly
for Two
Cosgrove.
Headed Girl when we played it,
Oh,
and they came back to my house and we all watched iCarly together.
that
So
was
we
a
know them.
great night. That was awesome. That is really funny. No, he definitely would fuck with us.
Right.
We gotta get in his ears.
He could stage dive. He could come
Yeah.
to a show.
Yeah.
Jerry Trainer is
Guest vocals?
Yo,
Yeah.
Jerry. I feel
Come
like Jerry
on
Trainer.
screen?
If Jerry Trainer wanted to, he could front like a Scrams band. I feel like
Oh, yeah.
all the yelling he does in that show, he could really like get into that shit.
I genuinely feel like that could be a really good new career trajectory for him, is like going into like emo punk band world. Like kind of like a reverse Kanye Reeves, maybe.
Mm.
I don't know. He's got the vibe. I just feel like it could work for him.
I'll email his people. I'll get the ball rolling. Don't
Oh,
worry.
fuck yeah, thanks, dog.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I feel like you could make a whole meme band where you do like metalcore breakdowns, and the mosh call is like a quote from anything that Jerry Trainer said on either Drake and Josh or iCarly.
Fuck yeah.
Like you could do him yelling like, what does he yell?
Cock-a-doodle
Dude,
doo.
the cow says moo.
The cow says moo.
Somebody's seeing Ik Glakma.
Yo!
Rock
Yeah, that's a
Yo.
crazy mosh call. That would go so hard.
Oh my god.
That would go so hard.
This isn't the warm-hearted question yet because I just totally
Okay.
thought about this. But how into the crazy Drake and Josh iCarly like conspiracy theory are you? Where like Jerry Trainer's character steals Miranda's character in Drake and Josh, and then like brainwashes her, and then that becomes iCarly.
I see the vision, but I feel like I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I think Jerry Trainer would never do such a thing.
That's true.
I think he's a wholesome guy.
Also,
And-
Miranda's got the plan always.
Yeah.
It's true. She's smart.
Here's my question. And this is the biggest plot hole in iCarly that I see is their dad is military. Spencer is an artist who doesn't make any money. We
Mhm.
don't know where the mom is. How can they afford a 2-level apartment in Seattle on that income? On one income that's definitely not Spencer. Carly's still in school. There's
Yo.
no way.
Spencer's trapping out the apartment. That's what it is.
Yo, that could
Yo,
explain a
Travis-
lot.
Trapping out the elevator.
That could explain a lot.
There you go.
I'm with
Yeah.
it.
Myth busted.
Right.
Yo,
I'm
get
glad-
get
I'm
on
glad
get
it
on Reddit
solved.
right now. You got it, bro.
Yo.
literally, you gotta log on, bro.
Maybe Spencer just like won a lawsuit against the building or something. Like maybe something spontaneously lit on fire and they couldn't prove it was him, so he was like, "It's the building."
I'm with it.
These are all good theories. I love it. Tune back into next week's episode where we try and break it down on YouTube. Like, subscribe. I don't fucking know. But time for the warm-hearted question to end off this episode is, from each of your times in this entire, I'm wording this completely wrong. No cuts, no edits. Don't worry. From your time in Carly Cosgrove, what has been your favorite moment that you've experienced and you always look back on as like that aha or like that glorifying moment that you've experienced?
It's hard because I feel like there are a few.
I could go first. Because Helen, you were right. There are definitely a lot.
Yeah.
There's one I can look back to very fondly, which is the EP release show of Whoa, Just Take It Easy, Man.
Mm-hmm.
What's really cool about that is it's recorded and on YouTube, so like anyone could just watch it. But that was in our friend's house, the soda bar in Philly. And I think it was like the first moment where we all were like, we are making something that other people are really invested in. It was a show that like, we released an EP a week prior. And literally everyone knew the lyrics, everyone knew the songs, and like that was so not the case for any project I was in, prior to that. And it really kind of like emphasized the fact that like what we were doing is important. And occasionally like I'll go back to that video and watch it, and it's really cool, like just seeing us as like young bulls just like on the precipice of just like a really cool thing,
Yeah, that is like that moment will always hold a very special place in, I think, all of our hearts. I mean, that whole show is just so special.
Mm.
Okay, I think my moment would be on the first tour we did, the Knuckle Puck tour. The first show at Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. We are like standing to the side stage, and I'm watching the set, and right next to me is our like videographer that we've toured with a lot, Santo Donia. Love this guy. Who I have known for, I mean, we've all kind of known individually, like quite for some time, but he just kind of became like a little special member of the band, doing so much work for us. And Ben Greenblatt, who's the bassist of Arms Length, who's actually from South Jersey, and Santo and Ben went to high school together. I think like middle school together. And when I was in high school, I used to play a lot of shows in South Jersey, so I've known both of them since I was in high school. Like really from like the roots of like me getting into DIY music. And we're watching Knuckle Puck, and they're playing like all their hits, and we're just like freaking out. Like we're like fucking like finger pointing, like just like fucking screaming the words, and it was just like, yo, like we're really out here on tour with fucking Knuckle Puck, like a band that we've all loved for how long, and like this is like literally a dream come true. Like how the fuck are we here? Like this is real shit, you know? And I literally have a video where I'm like zooming in on Knuckle Puck playing, and then I zoom over and Ben's like, it was like so funny.
I think mine not like was a house show we played in Manayunk back in like June or July of 2019 before the EP release show. Um, I used to book shows at a coffee shop in Westchester, which is like a suburb like about 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia. And show got canceled for heat, and because the space didn't have AC, we had to move the show. One of the bands couldn't make it. I was like, hey, like I called Ty and Helen up, and I was like, are you doing anything? Do you want to hop on the show? And it just kind of worked out. I remember we like kind of, I don't want to say struggled, but like sourced a bunch of gear, found a PA system to like do this show, like brought like all our rigs and bass amps and shit, and like to I packed everything into my like sedan, and we all met at the gig and played it. And then afterwards, we were just like walking through Manioc, just kind of like shooting the shit. And then we come
Yeah.
across this married couple,
Yeah.
and
Brunette on the run.
we met on yeah, they were doing like a piggyback race down the street, or just like I think the husband was giving the wife a piggyback right down the street, and I was like, Tyler, hop on my back, we're gonna race them. And so
Yeah.
we started racing them, and we beat them. And this woman's like, "Oh my god, like new friends!" We won, by the way. But this really awkward thing happened. I don't know why I think of it often, but like
I don't know either.
she was rather drunk,
Intoxicated?
and they were like, "Oh, we just got back from the bar. We're celebrating our anniversary." And we were like, "How long have you been together?" And she says, really happy, 14 years. And the husband says, stone cold sober, 15. And I was like, okay, this is an interesting vibe. But like, I don't know. There's like something about that day, just like everything kind of coming together, like with considerable ease, and just like getting to like relax and enjoy the thing was like, I don't know. I hold that really close to my heart.
That woman was hilarious.
She was really funny.
She was a character. She was wonderful, a joy. I still follow her on Instagram.
No way.
Oh yes, she's fantastic.
What is she up to?
I don't know. But that's gonna be us one day. Someone's gonna be like, "How long has you guys been a band?" And we're all gonna say different answers. That's gonna be us one day. 10 years from now.
Yo, I got one more moment.
Let's go.
Yeah, I kind of regret saying this first because it's more contemporary.
Let's
and
go.
I think like the longer we do this, the more it's like there's not like a moment where it's like I made it, I'm a big band. Like we talk about this a lot. Everything's like a scale.
Yeah.
But a moment that I look fondly back on is when we toured with the Wonder Years and Hot Mulligan. Pulling up to the first venue and walking into the room, and I remember we walked into the venue and it was side stage, so we couldn't really like see the theater. We could only see the stage. But like from the side door, just seeing how like vast the stage was and being like, holy shit. And then finally setting up the sound check and like looking out on this like theater was like one of the craziest moments ever. Cause I think it reinforced a few things. The first one was that like we did something and like we belong here and we belong on stages like this. But then the other thing was like it kind of broke down the barrier of like this can be a job or a career for anyone. Like, the Wonder Years and Hot Mulligan are very like normal people that come from like similar backgrounds as us. So it's like it kind of showed me that like with enough hard work and like maybe just like capitalizing on some opportunity, like anyone could do that. And I think like that feeling is something that has definitely motivated me to continue to push and like I don't know, it was a glimpse into what could be of this project.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that was nice.
Thanks, dog.
Got you, bro.
No, yeah, I think those are all beautiful sentiments, and like especially that like just keep striving to keep building, like to see where I think a lot of people hold you in the regard that you are right now in the scene. I think it's already like pretty high up there, and like there's different levels, like you said, there's the mainstream level and there's the levels to get there, and I feel like you guys are already a good few steps up on that whole level. It's really nice to see everything you're doing, and like, you know, get to chat with you and like see how down to earth the three of you are, and like not like egotistical or anything like that. You know, because then that makes for really rough episodes. But like just to have a good time.
Sure.
But like you guys are putting out some great stuff. I'm really stoked on the Real Friends tour, and just to see what the next iteration and like everything y'all keep doing and producing from here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
But yeah, thank
Yeah.
you very much.
We really appreciate that, and it means a lot to like hear people say shit like that. So thank you.
Of course. I mean, I can't stress enough. Everyone go listen to The Cleanest Houses Are Empty. It is truly amazing. If you aren't listening to Carly Cosgrove, this is your time to get in now, before, you know, shit skyrockets even more. And definitely go back and listen to that. Whoa, Take It Easy, Man, and See You in Chemistry, because those are both solid as hell. And just all the other singles that you have out as well, that didn't make it onto the records. I think there's like it's like, I'm gonna butcher the name. It's like Buttersock, and like like that 2-song EP is like super solid as well. And like I said, the covers that you've done have been great to listen to. So everyone, please go listen to that and check everything out. If anyone's looking for merch, music, or Carly Cosgrove in general, where can they find it?
The link in any of our bios got links to all the other shit from there, like vinyl and merch and tour dates and anything else you might want.
The username
Yeah.
for all of our, or the handle for all of our socials is at Carly Cosgrove PA, if that helps as well.
This is true.
So depending on where you found this episode, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, X, or you watched the YouTube version, got to see their lovely faces like I did tonight, check the description down below, hit those hyperlinks, go follow them on all the socials, be ready for new music videos, new merch, tour dates, go catch them with Real Friends, and just, you know, like I said, can't stress enough, listen to Carly Cosgrove, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been awesome, and really enjoyed chatting with you.
This is a great time. I'm so stoked we finally got to do it.
Hell
Yeah.
fucking yeah. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Beers with Biz. Beers with Biz.